joy in serving you, Lord. Jesus Christ, my King. I will follow, lead me, Lord.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Father David Walter, and I'm pastor here at Holy Cross Parish in Georgetown. I've been a priest for 6 years, and it's a privilege today to be able to share my vocation story. So to start, I grew up in a small town called Chepstow, Ontario, and I grew up in a Catholic school. We went to Mass every Sunday. I was an altar server, but the thought of priesthood never really came into my mind. And I went to high school and university. I studied economics, and I worked for several years before I decided to enter seminary. And then there came a point in my life where I really just felt like something was missing. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But then this desire for priesthood sort of was in my heart, and I didn't want anything to do with it, to be honest, because I had my own plans for life. I wanted to get married, I wanted to have a family, I wanted to retire early, buy a cottage on a lake somewhere and retire there and golf every day. But God's got a sense of humor. He has other plans. And I remember feeling this call to more service in the church, and I began to volunteer more with the parish I was attending at the time. I was involved with their RCIA, helping to instruct those who were becoming Catholic. I was an RCIA sponsor. I was involved with the St. Vincent de Paul Society, helping the poor in our community. Various things that I was doing, and I was finding myself enjoying these more than my actual job. And that was that tug at my heart where I realized, oh boy, maybe God really is calling me to this. But I still was hesitant. I was reluctant. God kind of had me kicking and screaming, so to speak. So I thought, well, okay, I'll give this a shot. There's a few things I was afraid of. I thought, well, I'm an introvert. I don't know if I'll be able to deal with people that well. I don't know if I can preach. And okay, I'll try to get those off there. Then I'll stop thinking about it. I'll just prove to myself I can't preach. I'm too shy to deal with people. So I took a public speaking course. My hope was that I would burn out and say, okay, I can't do that. There's no way I can be a priest. But in taking that course, I actually realized after some initial nerves that I actually really enjoyed public speaking. So much so that I must have done a good job, because they asked me to help instruct the course after I was done. So again, God has a sense of humor. He's slowly removing these things from my life that I thought were barriers to entering seminary, to becoming a priest. And also I thought I was too introverted and shy, but then as I mentioned, I joined the St. Vincent de Paul Society, going out to meet people in the community, help them out. And I thought, okay, I'll realize I'm afraid of this. It won't be any good. So, but I did that, and again, I was enjoying it. I was loving my service, and again, God removing that barrier. So I finally thought, okay, that's it. I've got to explore this more. So I called the vocation director at the time, and they got me on a come and see weekend. So I went to St. Augustine Seminary in Toronto for a weekend to see how it all worked. And when I got there, I was terrified. And all I could think about, I remember that first night there, I was staring at the ceiling thinking, all right, in the morning I'll tell them I'm sick and I'll go home. I mean, this isn't for me. How can I be here? I couldn't be a priest. I'm an idiot. I really am. I tell that to people all the time. I mean it. It's not just being humble so anyway, I got through that night. I didn't sleep much because I couldn't believe I was there. In the morning, I said, okay, I'm going to give it today. And we were in adoration at that come and see weekend at the seminary. Before the Blessed Sacrament, praying, I'm saying, Lord, if you want me to be a priest, it's got to be you. I can't do it. And at that moment, before the Blessed Sacrament, a peace came over me that I can't describe. And it was at that moment I knew that I would return to start my seminary studies in September. And I did that, and that peace hasn't left me. Yes, there's been challenges in my priesthood, but I've never doubted that this is where God's calling me to be. And I was ordained in 2014. It's 2020 now, and I'm 6 years a priest, and I can't imagine doing anything else. And I thank God for this vocation. It's a beautiful vocation. You get to touch so many lives, and you never know the impact you have. But it's such a beautiful vocation. And I just encourage anyone that even has that inkling that God might be calling them, you got to explore it. For me, it was the kicking and screaming, as I said. God started to remove those barriers, though, until finally I said, okay, Lord, I'm yours. It's got to be you, though. As I mentioned, as soon as I prayed that prayer, he gave me the peace I need to realize, okay, maybe I can do this. And I got through, I was ordained, and I continue on and look forward to many happy years as a priest. Well, hello, everybody. It's Father Dave, and I'm here to share a little bit about what it's like to be a priest, a day in the life of a parish priest. And for me here at Holy Cross in Georgetown, we have a big parish, so there's always something going on. There's never a lack of things to do. So when people say, Father, what do you do all day? Well, let me tell you, there's not much time for just hanging around and doing nothing, that's for sure. But it's a beautiful vocation that we get to serve in so many different ways. But my life, I get up pretty much every morning at 6:30 a.m. That's when my alarm goes off, and I get ready for the day, have my shower, my breakfast, and I head over to the church to unlock it. Central to our day as priests is the sacrifice of the Mass, and our Mass here on weekdays is at 9 a.m. So I'm always have the church open and unlocked by 8 a.m., and then I'll spend an hour in prayer myself from 8 till the Mass starts at 9. And that's really my time to charge up my batteries so that, I spend the time with the Lord before the Blessed Sacrament so he can fill me up, so I can take that to those I encounter through the day, so I have something to give myself. So we do need to charge up. It's so important as a priest to have a dedicated prayer life. So I'll do that, and then Mass, of course, we have at 9 o'clock till about 9:30. I'll greet the people after Mass, and often people, if they need to talk to me, that's when they'll be able to have that opportunity to just say, Father, I got to talk about this and that. So being at the back of the church is so important after Mass, and I always love greeting the people coming through. They really become friends, and they really do become your family as a parish priest. You're called Father, and they truly are your spiritual children, and it's amazing how many beautiful encounters you get as a priest just greeting your parishioners. So after we've done that, I usually grab a coffee. Very important. After my Mass, I need a coffee to give me a bit of a caffeine pick-me-up. And I'll generally just go to the office, and there's all kinds of administrative work to do, so I'll check through my emails, my voice messages, try to prioritize those that need to be handled right away. In the mornings, also mid-morning, I like to schedule Masses in our various community places. We have 4 nursing homes in our parish, 4 elementary schools, 1 high school. So every week I try to be in one of the nursing homes for Mass and one of the schools for Mass. So mid-morning I'll do those sort of Masses. We average about 1 funeral a week as well. So mid-morning we'll schedule funeral Masses, and we'll welcome those families in to celebrate the rites of Christian burial and Christian funeral Masses, which are so important in the life of the church. So those sort of things are scheduled in the morning. Around noon, I'll take a bit of a break to grab some lunch, come back. If there's anything that's really pressing, I'll deal with it in the afternoon, which is generally downtime in the life of a parish. There's not too much going on in the afternoon, so that's the time you have an opportunity to get some exercise. I have a bit of a gym in my basement, so I'll go down and get a workout in. I'll maybe do some reading, watch some TV. My various hobbies, I've taken up gardening. I've got a nice backyard. I'll go and do some gardening. So things like that. So it just takes some downtime in the afternoon. I'll head in the office late in the afternoon again, just to make sure there's no pressing messages or things that I have to deal with in the moment. I'll check in with my secretary, my staff, to see what's going on, and again to see if there's anything that I have to know about or have to work on. I'll have dinner, and after dinner, the evening is very much part of the busiest time in the life of a church. So after dinner, I'll take time for another period of prayer, my evening prayer from the Liturgy of the Hours. I'll take some time to just be with the Lord before the evening begins. In the evening, there's often lots of appointments, such as meeting couples preparing for marriage, meeting people who just need to talk, meeting people maybe planning a funeral for a loved one. All these appointments generally happen in the evening because most people are working during the day, so we have to offer that time in the evening to meet with our parishioners. And of course, there's always meetings going on at night. So you're going to a Knights of Columbus meeting, a CWL meeting, St. Vincent de Paul, whatever, RCIA. There's all kinds of groups that are meeting, youth groups. So you try to pop in on those and be with them, offer whatever guidance you can offer in those meetings. So I'd say from 7 till 9 or 10 every night, I'm in meetings or appointments, and I'll come home after that. I'll grab a quick snack, maybe a glass of water or something, maybe a tea, watch the news that evening, and then I'll say my night prayer and hit the bed, hit the pillow and start again tomorrow, and just thank God for the beauty of the day, do an examination of conscience before I go to bed, thanking God for the blessings of the day and seeking forgiveness for those times I've fallen short, and just to thank him for allowing me to serve in his name. So it's that's the life of a parish priest on a weekday. Sundays are pretty busy. They're my favorite day of the week. That's when I get to see all my parishioners. So we have Mass Saturdays at 5 with confessions. Beforehand, we have Sunday 9, 10:30, and noon. So it's a whirlwind Sunday mornings, but I love it because you get to see so many people come through. Our average attendance is between 1,300 and 1,500 people between all our masses. So I get to see so many people, and being at the back of the church, just greeting everyone. It's really a highlight of my week. And again, to really exercise my spiritual fatherhood to all those that come through this parish. And it's a beautiful, I just love Sunday mornings. So that's my favorite time of the week. My day off is usually after the Sunday masses or after the baptisms on Sunday until Tuesday morning. So Monday is a full day off. My favorite thing to do is golf. So on Mondays, if it's in the spring or summer, I'll go see my parents or my friends, and we'll go out for a round of golf, and maybe go out with friends for a bite to eat for dinner or whatever the case might be. So, I just like to do normal things, and that's what I enjoy on my day off. So there you have it. There's, in a nutshell, the life of a parish priest, at least the life of this parish priest. So I hope that enlightens you. There's so many beautiful things that happen in the priesthood and religious life, and I just hope that you do, if it's something tugging at your heartstrings, to really explore it. It's a beautiful life. God bless everyone. I've been asked to share a story about a time that I've been able to help someone, and that's a difficult question to answer because there's so many moments in the day where you're talking to someone, you're giving them advice, and you're never sure how that all comes together. And in the future, sometime you might not even expect it or remember the person. They'll come and say, "Father, you know what? I don't know if you remember me, but we spoke a couple years ago at whatever church you were at that time, and you just gave me this piece of advice, and it really stuck with me, and it's really changed me." And honestly, you usually don't remember those moments, but it's you never quite know what effect you're having on people. But it's beautiful to get those reactions sometimes to help you realize, as a priest, you're really doing something important. But to pick one specific story, I would say I was called in as an on-call priest at the hospital one night, and I got a call it was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and you kind of shake it off. You're half asleep. The pager goes off. You call into the hospital, and they say, "Father, there's a gentleman in such and such a room that needs to see a priest." So, okay, you get up and you drive to the hospital, and you're never sure what you're going to encounter. But I walked into a room. I remember meeting this guy. His name was Mike. He was in his 50s, and he was crying. And he said, "Father, I've been told I've got cancer, and I don't have much time." And he says, I'm almost ashamed to call you because I haven't been to church in 20 years, and the only time I went was with my parents. I only went because I wanted to make them happy. But this time of illness has really got me thinking about a lot of things. And I realize I feel like the man that was beside Jesus on the cross when Jesus is dying, and the thief says, "Remember me in your kingdom." And the man says, or Jesus says, "Today you'll be in paradise." He says, "I feel like that man, Father. What do I have to do to get right with God?" Those are moments as a priest when it really hits you how vital your role is. And I said, "Well, the Lord just wants you back." "When was the last time you went to confession?" He says, "I haven't gone since grade school, and they made us go." I'm like, "Okay, well, I'll give you a moment. I just want to think through your life. Are you willing to do it?" I give him the option. He says, "Yes, I want to make that confession." And I helped him through it. Went through his life. It was a beautiful experience. It was probably 10 or 15 minutes. He went through everything, and he went really deep. He went some very things that most of us would be ashamed of, but to some serious things. But he went through it all. And in that moment, I just said, "Thank God for your great confession. The Lord loves you. All I want you to do for a penance is Our Father, just say it slowly, let the words really sink in." And we prayed that prayer together. He was in absolute tears at that moment. I anointed him with the sacrament of sick. And he said, "Thank you, Father." And I realized, of course, it's not me doing this. This is Jesus working through me. I got a call from the family the next day saying he had passed away overnight. And they wanted me to do his funeral. And the family, I'm almost crying just thinking about this now, but the family told me, I don't know what you said to him, Father, but we were with him in those last moments, and he was completely at peace. And he said he made his peace with God, and he's ready to go home. And I think that's my story of someone that I was able to help. And again, it's not me, it's the Holy Spirit working through me. There's a coincidence any of the priests that are on call could have gone that night, but it happened to be me, and I think God showed me how he's using me. And those are the moments you remember as a priest, and remember when you go home and again say that prayer, thank God for using me, Lord. I want to be your servant. Put me in those positions. It's like being in the baseball game, the most important players are the ones that want to be in there when they need that home run, or to be out there in overtime in a hockey game and want to score that overtime goal. Put me in there, coach. And that's the way it is when we're able to see the results of how the Lord uses us. So that would be the story that sticks in my mind most immediately of having helped someone. And once again, these are the things we don't see in the background, but the life of the priest, the life of a religious, God gives us so many graces. May God bless you.